Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin.
We're
Okay.
recording. It's in progress. Hi, Laurie.
Hello, Jacqueline. We're actually just boroughs apart. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'm an outlier, but we've known that.
Yes. Yes.
I am in Brooklyn. I'm doing the stand tonight. Are you flying home tonight?
No, I'm out tonight too. I'm at the Broadway and then Greenwich Village for 2 spots. So I have like 3 tonight. So I was at the stand Friday and Saturday.
Oh, okay. I'm at the stand and
Yeah.
then I'm at Greenwich Village. I might run into you.
I think we're probably on the same show then. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that will be surreal see
We'll
you.
take pictures. We'll take pictures for the peoples.
Of
They'll
course,
be
yes.
excited.
You look like you're actually on the space shuttle and are an astronaut floating through gravity-free environments.
As I enjoy I've decided I enjoy space exploration, but I don't think that we should move from the planet.
No,
I
no.
am in Brooklyn and I'm staying in a friend's apartment, and she has a window that you know how the top part won't close. It keeps sliding down.
Oh, it's like what are those called? I forget what those kind of windows are called.
Right.
Sash windows, maybe, or something?
Yeah, maybe, because you lift it from the bottom and then you could drop it from the top. And one of the
Yeah,
windows
I know what
from
you're saying.
yeah, so one of the windows from the top is open like that much. And at first it was really nice, the fresh air. And then it became chilly. And
It's
so
getting cold.
so I'm told that it will slide down again. It needs to be fixed, but I did just close it, so it will be warm.
Can you prop it up there with like a ruler or something like that, you know?
Well, that's a good idea. I will
If
look
your
into
friend
that.
has
I also need a
something.
ladder because she has a
Oh,
vaulted she has a vaulted
okay.
ceiling. It's
Damn. We're getting a little Brooklyn apartment porn here, and I like it.
So I thought about sitting up, but I only had an hour and a half of sleep last night. I had a
Oh my
really
God.
fun week. Even though both times I had really early flights for some reason. I don't know why. I think I thought I would rest during the day. You know when you don't think.
Right? Yeah. Jackie, you have to make like bold font notes to yourself on your computer. Don't book an early flight because
Yeah.
you do forget when you start booking. You're like, well, and it starts to be like Tetris, and you're like, oh, I'll do this here, and then I'll sleep all day, and you
Right.
forget. No, actually, I'm going to be worried that I'm going to miss the flight, so I'm going to be up all night, and
Yep.
then I'll feel like shit for 3 days straight.
Right. I don't want that. That's what I don't
Right.
want. But
Hmm.
so I got into this apartment at like I would say 11, and then I was supposed to do a 1 o'clock thing, but that I slept through it, and now here we are. So this
Hmm.
is good. But then my first set at the stand is until 9, and then my second set's at like 10.
Oh, you're leaving at 7 o'clock. I thought you said you had a 7 o'clock.
No, no, I'm leaving. I have to figure out how
Oh,
to get to Manhattan.
I have the 9:40, so you're up right after me at Greenwich.
Okay, I think it's at 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to get over there
That's
from the
cool.
stand. Yeah.
That's easy. It's no problem.
Okay, great. I just have to
Yeah.
figure out how to get out of Brooklyn.
Well,
So
what train station are you near?
right. I don't know.
Oh.
So
Well,
have you been here all weekend?
wherever,
Yeah.
just get a go to Union Square because that's where the stand is. So, and a million different lines feed into it, so you'll be good.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Fun.
Yeah, I was here all weekend. I did 5 spots each night on Friday, Saturday at the stand, just going up and
Wow.
down. It's a lot because, you know, there's like three up top and 2 at the bottom. They have 2 rooms. They have a basement and upstairs.
Okay.
And they start to feel, especially the upstairs rooms, they start to feel like the same. Like I'm like, have I been here before twice already tonight? And
Yeah, that's
the
gotta be
same
maddening.
vibe from the audience. Yeah. So
Mhm.
so it's a little it's weirdly tough to be doing, even though it's good, because you just don't leave the scene. Um
Yeah, it's
and then
convenient, but it sounds like a bit of a grind.
yes.
So,
And then for our bottom shows, the basement shows, that's like the better room. Shane Gillis was headlining, and he was doing a spot, but he posted it, so a lot of his fans came. And he has a
okay.
very like kind of young male fan, young males without girlfriends. they were it was a lot of guys that came together to it. And I'm gonna just say this. I think straight men need to bring a date to a comedy show. That's it. You
Yeah,
shouldn't go with your bros to a comedy show unless someone, at least half of you have to be bringing dates, because
right. It
it
softens.
something
It's
siphons up.
yeah.
Yeah, that energy is just like so those were fun shows, but still it was interesting. And then Pete Davidson popped in for the early show on Saturday,
Oh,
and the crowd went bananas.
that's neat. He's famous. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said he hadn't been on stage. He said, I've been on stage 5 times in 5 years, so I get it. like, but he was funny, and he's a nice guy, and he was wearing a mask too. It's kind of cool. I was like, oh, a fellow masker. There weren't many of us
Right.
in the club, So
Oh yeah.
I like
Uh,
I like Pete Davidson a lot.
Oh good.
Yeah.
Um, the two guys that opened for me, at Royal Oak at the Comedy Castle
Hmm. Hmm.
were it was a perfect booking, I will say. Well played, Mark Ridley, because I think they were both their first time, so they were both super nice. Like what that was the first time that the feature was featuring for Mark. He
Yeah.
features, but it was the first
Yeah.
time he got in with Mark to feature.
Hmm.
And then the MC was literally like a baby Pete Lee. When you think
Hmm.
about how Pete Lee is his own baby. So so for this guy who's 23 and he's an IT guy for General Motors, and he has a very funny, they both inspired me to work on bits that were tangential of the topics that they were talking about. um Jack, the MC guy, he had a bit about how a friend of his is allergic to shrimp, but has
Yeah.
figured out exactly how many shrimp he can eat before he goes to the hospital because he loves shrimp so much,
Oh my
and
god.
will literally risk his life at like 3.5 shrimp. He's like, I need one more. And you're like, no, what are you, nuts? And the other guy, Andrew Yang,
Oh.
not Wang. He did have a dick
Eh,
joke, but
wait, isn't that the name of a presidential candidate too?
yes, right.
Okay.
I'm
Hmm.
surprised he doesn't go by Andy, but it's Andrew Yang,
Hmm.
and he does a very funny bit about a metronome, and it's kind of a signature bit. I really enjoyed it, and we had a couple of meals together. Some of the local comics came out. We went out for pizza night before last, Friday, after the second show, and and then yesterday we went to a diner for lunch,
Oh, cool.
and yeah, it was super fun. They were really nice. We had a there's a there's a local comic. He said he was a comedy store guy, Mike Young.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, he is filming um a movie he wrote in Detroit with
Wow.
I believe Michael Rappaport and Jeff Dye.
Wow.
And
How'd a New York comic get them?
well, he's a Detroit comic,
Oh, okay.
but he lives in LA and he goes to the store, he told me. But speaking of sort of kind of baseball hat energy,
Hmm.
um he did two guest sets on Saturday. And he just asked the club. The club didn't ask me. Like the MC and the feature had to change their times. I didn't change mine.
Yeah.
And but he had a real dude kind of energy.
Hmm.
And the two guys for Thursday and Friday had been so sort of, because they were so weird, these two young comics in front of me. It
Mhm.
was super nice being able to find that. And this guy, good comic, a strong stuff, but real, just man, I was engaged and then the mask came down, so we're not engaged anymore. And it was that sort of energy. And
Mhm.
um so first show Saturday, Andrew was like, well, that was kind of tough. And so second show Saturday, guys doing a guest set again. I said to the MC, I said, just reset the room. Say something weird in your tiny MC voice.
Yeah,
And
that's a good idea.
and he did, and Andrew had a great set.
Oh,
By the time I got up second show, like first and second show on Saturday, Andrew had got them back to normal, you know?
cool.
And weirdly enough, a lot of people coming to see me because of TikTok. And
Interesting.
right. No bonuses inside in
Mm.
in play though. So I didn't um that's on me. But
Did you sell a lot of merch?
I did sell a lot of merch. And I tipped out the staff and one of the managers was like, "You could just buy pizza. Dave Attell just buys the pizza." And I was like, "I think pizza costs the same amount and everyone would appreciates cash. They're all working for cash, right? They're all wait staff."
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's nice. You gotta tell me how much you tip. You have to be making a lot of merch to
to
be
get that
tipping
kind of
pretty
yeah, to
well,
get that kind of
right?
cash. Yeah, because I do it in merch cash.
Yeah.
So
Um, and what are you selling? Shirts,
yeah,
CDs,
t-shirts,
DVDs?
CDs, DVDs, pins, coins. And because none of my albums are playing anywhere on Pandora, I literally
Yeah,
just went to the vault.
yeah. Why
I
not?
just I was
Right.
doing spooky reading girl joke because I had the pins.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was like, well then sell some pins. And people like the joke. They hadn't heard it.
Yeah.
Many of them. Yeah.
Well, that's
Um
really cool. I'm
so
very happy for you.
okay.
I am. I think
No, I
it's
know.
great that
Yeah.
it's working, you know?
Right. Do you know Seth Cease? Maybe that's his name. It's a TikTok comic who's
I
coming
know
for
Kyle's.
one night.
Wow.
Not not Kyle Cease. Not with a C.
Yeah.
It's Seiss, I believe.
Okay.
And it might be Seth. But there's a lot of like dun 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 and then the music. Dun 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 dun. Like I don't know
Hmm.
if his whole set's gonna be that, but it was so much production for the clip that they showed.
Wow. Um,
But it's
yeah,
sold out
somebody was,
like twice.
oh God. Somebody was talking about there's a couple of comics um that are more podcaster than comic, perhaps, and started
Oh.
doing stand up after they got the podcast audience. And they're not only that their podcast audience is really young women, and so they're not a great comedy audience, and they just want to see their podcaster, but that podcaster will be just like one of like six spots on the show, and they're not really a good comedy crowd.
Yeah, they have to
It's
learn.
interesting.
They have to learn because they're all
It's
like
weird.
14 or 16 or
Yeah, I do feel like maybe because we're somebody else on a show that you did at the Improv was going to come. It was like someone who has a podcast, right? And was kind of worried that didn't want their audience coming to the show because they aren't good. It just kind of made me think of Greg Barrett too, like how he wrote this book about relationships, which had nothing to do with the stand-up act, and then at the show would be filled with women at the comedy show wanting relationship advice, and it's sort of um I don't know,
yeah,
I
it's
guess
sabotagey. It's self-sabotagey a little bit.
yeah, well, no, it's not them. They're just doing a thing and it happens to click with a bunch of people. But I think the dream is to be Mark Maron famous, where you are famous for being a comic. And so the people coming to see your comedy show aren't expecting anything else but comedy,
Yep.
versus like these other podcasters maybe are, I don't know.
Yep.
You know what? I have no idea, but it's just kind of, well, I guess we'll be seeing this play out with TikTok too. Like,
Right,
what
right.
these
We have to
the
figure out
people
the
coming out to
lateral.
see them,
Yep.
are they, at least if people saw your TikTok, they're coming out for stand up, right?
Right, right. There was some
Stand up
guy. Oh my
versus
gosh.
somebody's funny videos, which is a different
Yes,
thing.
it is. There was a guy in the first show Saturday. You know how you're on stage? I fell down at the club, wiped out.
Hmm.
Um I'm a gazelle, consistently falling now.
This
One
is your
day,
second club you've sustained an injury at, correct?
yeah, but this is not. I mean,
Okay.
I just tripped, you know.
Okay.
Anyway, but I was going to use it as an excuse for the fact that sometimes I have no filter when I'm talking to the crowd. It's one of the reasons why I don't talk to the crowd.
Jackie, you
Because
have a filter when you talk to me. Never.
right?
Is there a
That's
filter
why
Jackie out there?
that's why I don't talk to the crowd. Who wants to hear that they look like a very young, and then as I am saying the words, I'm realizing what I'm saying. I go, and much better looking Fraser Crane? What are you doing, Jackie? What are you doing? And he's sitting there with just a bunch. It's a table of four dudes,
Mhm.
and I said, that wasn't. You didn't need to hear that. You are more than aware of what you look like, and or so I said. You have my permission to come up to me afterwards and say. Usually, I don't like women comics, but you're great. And so
So you gave him permission to give you a compliment. What a hero you are, Jackie.
a shitty compliment. Yes, please come and give me a qualifying shitty compliment.
We had at the front row at Cobb's last week. There was a absolute doppelganger for Andrew Tate, and
Oh,
he was
shit.
being loud and talky. So it was like,
Yeah.
who fucking cares about you hurt his feelings? And so I called him Andrew Tate for a while, and then I guess the MC did too, but I missed that part. So he had it all night.
Good.
Time to get a new look if you look like that kind of a sex trafficker,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a clean shave. Why don't you shave? Or grow a big beard. Do one of the two, buddy.
or a toupee or hair plugs. I mean, really, you need to draw attention away from that resemblance.
Fair enough. Um,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So you had good shows.
Really, really good shows. I got to
Hmm.
work on some of the new stuff. I learned some stuff about the new stuff. Um, just kind of some of the stuff is long, so it has to be massaged, and one of the pieces is so long I couldn't face working on it, so I didn't. It's a bad sign. It's a bad sign. I don't want to work on the joke. Too
Yeah.
funny.
I am totally sick of my act, everything, and I can't take it anymore. I guess doing it 10 times in 48 or
Oh,
24 hours or
right,
whatever is a lot.
right. Doing 15s, the same 15s over and over. That's a lot.
Basically, switching out a few things, but yeah. And then,
Yeah.
some stuff, like, it depends on like I said this in our chat, but I had started dropping tags pretty quickly because like they weren't working with this audience, as much
Oh,
as
right.
they would. I don't know. They were and you're like, God, are LA audiences that different from New York audiences? In a way they are. So yeah, anyway,
I can't wait to
we'll see.
learn. Because
Yeah, you're gonna learn
I've
tonight.
so many sets this week. Though tomorrow I'm doing Butter Boy,
Oh, neat. That'll be fun.
so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's more hipster youth here in Brooklyn, and then I have
I
some
actually
late
think
night
that's
sets.
more your audience, you know,
Yeah, well,
in a way.
when I first moved to Los Angeles, it was in the heyday of the alt scene,
Hmm.
and I didn't know that I was alt. So it turned out it worked out just fine. Um, and I could do the alt rooms
Hmm.
because my stand up, I guess, was an alternative to a pile of haircuts doing it in the 80s and 90s. So,
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think every female comic was an alt just because they were female, though.
oh, no, 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 not at all. It's, but since most of the people on the road were dudes, and I had been grinding it out for 10 years trying to, you know, make those road dates work. And I could. I could play any room. Remember
Mm-hmm.
you remember the Pride? Karen Rentowski used to sit around and talk about shitty one-nighters and how proud we were that we could do them and then risk our lives. And it's just the dumbest.
Well, the
Um,
life risking is driving to and from, because they're
yes,
always in like very dangerous locations. It was
there's some
and
rural,
two-way highways and stuff with trucks coming at you, and who
large
knows if those guys are
marge.
on meth or whatever.
Right.
Hmm.
It was yeah, the whole thing was the whole thing was just dumb because you'd go into town and you're like, I have
Jackie,
to find this weird garage. What?
you're so tired.
I am pretty tired.
You're trying. You are
I'm a little
trying.
scratchy. I'm a little scratchy throated
You are.
because of because uh, again, was I the only one wearing a mask on the plane? Nobody was wearing a mask at the shows. There was maybe that's not true. Maybe a
Yeah.
handful.
Yeah.
And I have, and I'm not wearing a mask, so I do, I do a joke about how we're all wrong. And
Are you wearing a mask when you sell merch?
no.
Mm. Hmm.
Hmm.
I would
And
I would counsel you to rethink that, because you're very close to people's airspace at that point.
it's true. I just got boosted though, which helps.
It does help.
And um and that'll be good. Um what else? Uh yeah, so nobody was wearing a mask. And what did I end up I ended up drinking too much coffee last night. So
Hmm.
I couldn't get to sleep anyway. And then I kept having weird stress dreams in the middle. I'm gonna miss my flight. I just finished reading a mystery novel, and so there was a horse in it. I don't understand. Why do the British have horses in their mystery novels in the 70s? So the 20s
Mm.
actually. So
Did you see RRR? Have you watched it yet?
no,
It's
but
on
I
Netflix.
understand it's not about pirates. How is it?
It's really good. And one of the guys, there's two male co-stars or Bollywood stars, and they're both good looking, but one of them's extremely good looking, and he rides a horse, and it's insane. I mean, it's the stuff of daydreams.
I have to say that
You
is
gotta watch it. Yeah.
that's very funny. Do you remember that Old Spice commercial with that guy? I'm on a horse, and now these are diamonds, and here's tickets to that thing you wanted to see. Um,
Barely.
oh, I'll
Let's
send you
see.
the link because I sometimes watch
Last.
it when I want to giggle because he literally this guy stuck the landing. He should have got regular work out of it. I don't understand why he didn't get like sitcom work out of it.
Mm.
Because he had
I think
perfect
didn't
timing.
back then they separated you as your commercial actor or a sitcom actor. Didn't they separate like actors like
It
that?
wasn't.
Like a lot
I
of
thought it
people
was
didn't want to do commercials because they would be pigeonholed that way.
right, but I think it's after that. I think it wasn't
Mm.
that long ago because I do remember when I first moved. There was
It's
a
not
lot of
Dion
talk.
Cole, the Old Spice guy, is it?
Maybe
The comedian Dion Cole?
I don't know. I don't know Dion Cole.
Oh, okay. He
Is
used to
he?
write for Conan, and then he became the Old Spice guy for a little while and did like funny commercials. And he was on Blackish. So it's like in the last 5 or 7 years.
Okay,
Is
so
that what you're
maybe he
talking about,
did
or is
go
it?
on. Yeah, maybe. He might have gone on to greater things. Kyle might look it up and then tell us. What do you think, Kyle?
I think that this is the same person we're talking about in both scenarios.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
So
Okay.
Jackie, just want you to know that you're fantasizing about a fellow comedian, and you need to stop it right now.
Yeah,
It's
it's the same guy.
disgusting.
Yeah,
It's
I'll check.
disgusting. Okay.
It's disgusting. You're right. There's never
I mean, Dion's very attractive.
right, but there's never any
Also true.
payoff. There's never any payoff thinking about male comics.
No.
So they're not
You
the
gotta-
stuff of daydreams.
Yeah, no. Oh man, not at all. Not at
unless they
all.
want to unless they want a new joke machine. And you're like, yeah, you want to rip on this? Do it. Um,
um, so I am saving money. I landed like at 10:30 on Thursday night. Took the subway in. Didn't get a lift.
wow.
That took a long time.
Mm.
And then obviously it's crazy to take the subway down to shows, but then back at night, I swear to God, that fucking A train, it was at least a half hour the at Times Square waiting for it. And it's like
Oh.
it's filled with people. Like there
Mhm.
are people that work nights that
Mhm.
need to get home at 1 a.m. on a Saturday. Why do they have one train every 30 minutes? It's infuriating. That's
Right.
all.
That is crazy. I was gonna mail home my merch luggage because I'm 10 days here and then I go to South Dakota
Uh-huh.
for Snow Jam, and
Uh-huh.
it's a festival, so there's no merch at a festival. You could, but
Mm.
it's labor intensive. Um
I
and
bet I bet Darren Carter could pull it off.
oh yeah, he could. Oh yeah, he
Darren
could.
does merch on a 10-minute set of flappers. And he sells stuff after the show.
Right. Well, you know what he does? He gets free
Hmm.
lunch. Um yeah.
Wait, I don't know. What's Zest?
Oh,
Is
Fest.
that
It was a
Festivals.
typo.
Oh,
Festivals.
Fest,
Fest.
Fest. Oh, okay.
More
Kyle's
than one, that comedian, and very
Oh,
vocal
yeah.
about how it is their God-given right.
well, own it. I could
You
have,
can
but
sell your shit.
I almost sold out of everything. Like I had one 4X squish t-shirt left,
Oh my
and I had
God.
maybe a handful of dad shirts. And um so
Wow.
I did make pretty good money. So it was light enough that I called my friend whose apartment I'm staying at, and I was like,
Yeah.
"You say this is the fourth floor. Do you have that sort of weird New York pride of fourth floor walk up?" And she goes, "I do not, Jackie. There is an elevator." And I was like, "Yes, then I don't have to pay to ship my luggage home."
Nobody currently living on a fourth floor walk up has pride about it. They only have pride after they move out, just so you know.
It does feel like a very New York thing when people are like, "Well, I live in a fourth floor walk up." But maybe you're right. Maybe it's all in past tense. I
Yeah,
lived in
because
a fourth floor walk up.
it's all in past tense. You don't want to tell anyone and you don't want to remind anyone because no one will come visit you.
No.
The grocery situation on a walk up is like it's awful. It's tough.
Yeah, that's brutal. I just and I got bumped up to first class. Um
Oh, your
so I
fucking
just
life.
well, occasionally it can work out for me. I have to go to Vermont, and I guess I can't go in the day early
Why?
because there's no hotel. I was like, "Can I please have the hotel the day early? It's in the same building." And I guess they said no. So now I can't. I actually have to go in the day early because there is no flights that will get me there before 11 p.m. So I'm gonna have to buy
Oh,
my own
yeah.
hotel
Hmm.
the night before. But I might text those guys and just go, "Are you sure you can't at least get me the hotel, the club rate for the night before?" And
Yeah, I've been doing that more and more. Like I'm coming into Bloomington a night early, and they're getting the hotel.
almost
Uh,
everybody is cool with it because it's too scary to fly in day of.
yeah, you can't worry that your headliner's going to miss a connection. No one wants to leave a day early. Trust me, nobody
I
wants
don't.
this.
Yeah, no, I would
but
like to
but
be
you
home.
these fucking airlines, they're canceling, like they're falling apart. So give going out a day early when you're going West Coast to East Coast at least gives you you'll make the shows the next night for sure. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. And so I gotta text Natalie, see if it's cool.
Hmm.
Because otherwise, I think I would have to take a different airline, and I think I still get there at 6:15, and the show's
Yeah,
at what 7:30.
JetBlue goes to Vermont as well through JFK. You should check them out. I forget what their time frame is. It is, but
Okay,
it does rely on everything working, and you know things don't
right.
things don't work. anymore
Things
in
don't.
this country, in this world.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people on it and a lot of moving parts. My sister's on her way to Africa. She's going on a safari. Yep.
Where in Africa? What country?
I think Kenya. Hi. I don't have all of the information.
Well,
All
you
I
got the
know is
continent right.
that's
huge.
never enough.
That's
It's
huge.
literally, it's, I believe, a point of contention with the people of Africa when
Yeah,
you
I
just
think
get the
so.
continent right.
Yeah.
Hey, let's
I'm
take a
going
break.
to Latin America.
Wait, are you?
Where? I'm not really sure.
Oh, you're riffing.
Someplace in Latin America. Yeah, let's take a break. And we're back. And it's time for our comic of the week. It's a woman I worked with this weekend, Onika McLean. She's super funny. She's grinding it out. I work with her a lot at the stand. She's hosting, which is that's the job where you just fucking go from 0 to 100. And she's really
Right.
funny. The crowd loves her.
Oh, that's great.
She has grown kids, but she looks like 25. I mean, she's awesome. I really like her. She's a nice person too. So check out Onika. I think on Instagram she's Onika Comedy. Onika. Onik is her first name. McLean, not like it's McLean like McLean. And I think on
her Twitter's in the chat.
Instagram. Okay. Her Twitter's like Onika D. McLean. And then her Instagram is Onika Comedy. But anyway, she's great. Check her out.
And it'll be in the notes, so I can't wait. I hope she's there tonight or sometime this week because I have a bunch of sets at the stand. But I'm only doing the stand in Greenwich Village. I didn't get a hold of anybody else. So I'm also doing a couple of one-offs, like some fun, like a hat store,
Greenwich Village is really fun. They get fun crowds. That whole, the cellar turned that whole area into like the center of stand-up comedy of the whole world, right? There's a bunch of cellar places. There's a couple other, and then other people have put in clubs like siphoning off the audience.
Yeah.
But there's so much audience that everyone's making money. And I think the Village Lantern reopened on Bleecker, and from what I think it's called the Comedy Spot, or I don't know, something like the comedy place, something. So there's even more because there's just comedy fans wandering around trying to get into a show because they've been sent there by Yelp or something. So
right.
Anyone can grab them. And so Greenwich is really fun. It's like a downstairs room, and it's a harrowing set of steps to go into the room, which is good. It weeds out
the weak. Yes.
Yeah. Only the strong comedic hearts. Actually, it's not. Well, none of those clubs are actually very accessible, which is actually pretty shitty. But I guess they're super old buildings from the Revolutionary War or whatever. But anyway, it's fun room. So, but I'll see you tonight there.
Yeah, I wonder if it is ADA though, because I think everything has to be disabled accessible, which often means, and because I've talked to different people, that they're using like a service elevator in the back of the room, in the back of the building.
Oh, I
so
don't
it's
know.
you and like the garbage. It isn't cool. Yeah, but it can be.
I think some older buildings get grandfathered in, right? Like really old buildings where you'd have to basically tear them down to remake them, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It would be weird that they wouldn't just make you just slap an elevator on the back of it, just to be decent about it.
Seems like it's a lot more work than slapping.
Yeah, and me and my poli-sci degree don't know a lot about construction. This is true, and
so tired. It's fine.
Well,
you need a nap.
I just woke up from a nap. Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to take another nap. Don't get me wrong. There will be another nap. It's my friend has. There's just wine and booze all over this apartment. There's just so much. It's a full bar, like one of those like Bewitched rolling bars. It's very cool. It's very neat.
Neat.
Yeah.
Well, I did Oh,
It's a pretty old eggs that I'm planning on eating. Um,
I'm slowly waking up closer and closer to morning time. When I flew on, I've come to realize no matter what time I fly in to New York, I just stay up till 6 or 7 in the morning, even when I get in at like 10 or 11. So I'm like, all right, the first night's always just going to be a long haul, and then I
mhm.
sleep till like 3. Right. So I woke up at 3 p.m. on Friday, woke up at noon yesterday, and 10 a.m. today. So I'm actually uh, probably not going to be completely wiped out when I have to wake up at 6 tomorrow.
Oh, good.
It's slowly working for me, and then I'll fuck it all up by going
Right, going
back to the
home.
West
Yeah.
Coast. Mhm.
So,
So I did Zoom yoga in my room. There's like a class that I take that's it's live, and the audio is hit and miss with Zoom, obviously.
okay.
And it was real miss today, and so I could only mostly use visual cues of the other people in the class, but the only woman that was fully on camera, I just kept resting. I'm like, what are you doing? What class are you in? Because I mean, everyone, like, I could see legs and arms around her, so I would try to I can kind of know what we're doing, but it's like the person I would check is just like laying there and her legs are in the wrong position. I'm like, fucking come on, man.
That is so funny. I
It's
just like,
annoying.
I'm sure it's annoying, but just the idea of trying to watch Zoom comedy, Zoom yoga rather, where you're like, is it downward dog? Is it over? What are they? Where's that? Is it Twister? What are they playing? And
Well, this chick was like savasana for 90 straight minutes, which is just laying on your back, I don't know. It's
right.
annoying.
Well,
And then yeah, I don't know. Since I'm only here for a brief time, I didn't want to invest too much in food. So instead I got a thing of milk and I've just been having cereal for most of my meals and I'm really sick of it. It's
oh, interesting. Because I was just about,
yeah.
I was thinking about how I might just buy some cereal and milk, but I don't want to live on cereal and milk for 10 days.
No, you have
um,
enough time to stock a fridge and go through
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
it. Do it
I
now.
could.
Do it tomorrow morning at the latest.
Right. I think there's
Because
a
then
Trader
you'll start
Joe's close to
thinking,
here.
yes, you'll start thinking like in that kind of comedy condo mode, and then just be having peanut butter sandwiches by the end of the week.
Yeah, yeah. That's not what I'm. I could go on a cleanse because I'm alone. I wonder if I will. Probably not.
Sounds awful. Sounds awful.
I'd love the idea that I might though. Um, I would like new material though. I am. I am at this point where I need. I think I need topics, but I thought I had some, and maybe I do. But there's some of the stuff like from childhood. I was talking to my brother Russ, and he has a friend from high school who lives in the Detroit area. He lives in Ann Arbor, right? So he always
Hmm.
comes and sees me when I do the Ann Arbor showcase. But they missed me. Him and his wife missed me, so they drove to Royal Oak. And I was just talking to Russ, and Russ was telling me that Mike Kogis did a weird when they were 15. We were talking about how you sort of have to speak up, right? Not even sort of, how
Hmm.
we're supposed to speak up when dumb things are
Hmm.
happening and horrible things are happening
Hmm.
around you. And Russ said, a weird thing about Mike Kogis is we were 15, and this is going to sound like sort of hacky now, but remember it's 1976, and they're
Hmm.
in the locker room, him and Mike, and there's a kid in their class who's gay and out in 1976. And they're in the locker room, and
Wow.
there's a bunch of haircuts that are pushing them around and just literally just getting ready to beat him up. And Russ said that
Hmm.
and Russ goes, and I feel bad. I didn't even think of saying anything and doing anything.
Right.
But Mike didn't even think he was doing anything. And he just turned to the guys and said, leave him alone. There's more girls for us. which is that old which is that old joke, right?
I've never heard that joke, but that's
Oh yeah,
cool.
it's there's a lot of straight guys that was their sort of lead into I don't know why you care about gay people. There's just means there's more girls for us. And I think it was so I got to tell him that story last night and his wife was like, That is such a great story. I love a nice story about Mike when he was 15.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when Jerry and Leon. Do you know those guys? They're comedy fans. They're Bay Area comedy fans. They're a couple. They're a gay
Oh,
couple. They've been
I
together
do
for
know
like
them. I've never
50
known their
years.
names. Yes.
They dress impeccably. They're just like icons. They're style icons.
Yeah.
And they're obsessed with stand-up comedy. They take notes on the show and stuff like that, and like what things were different and stuff. But like they've been together for a really long time, and like I never, I would never bring it up, but like you so rarely, because of AIDS, see older gay men, like
Right.
like just seeing them reminded me like there should be like a billion of these guys, and like a
Yeah.
generation of gay men were wiped out, and we don't know what the loss is, but it's tremendous, I
Right.
don't know.
Right. It was essentially all those guys that were really successful that were 10, 15 years older than we were are all
Hmm.
dead. They didn't, was
Yeah.
it Leibowitz with the lady?
Annie
No,
Leibovitz, the
no, she's the
photographer.
photographer. What's the other one? I'm thinking, God dang it, I just watched a documentary. Anyway, she's super snarky, and
Fran Leibovitz. Fran.
thank you.
Yeah.
It is Leibowitz. Oh, good for
Yeah.
me. So she made some crack about Nathan Lane. She was like, the guys that
I've
the
heard
guys
that.
that I the guys that I know who knew Nathan Lane are rolling over in their graves that guy's in charge of Broadway.
He's the one that survived.
Yes.
God, it's so cruel.
Oh, she's
I
really a
mean,
dick. Yeah.
yeah, she is. Gotta love her. You must love her. We insist.
Okay.
Um,
She's outstanding. Yeah.
yeah,
So we're going this week? Are you home this week?
I'm home this week, and yeah, just checking in on my son. He's with his dad, but his dad's working on a lot, so I'm just, I don't know. It's a lot to manage from far away. That's the one thing like with my mom that was great was that there's just another person at the house all the time, because she never left. But
Right.
for my son, it was, it, I don't know. Everyone acts like teenagers are like these, hardy souls, but they're kind of kids still,
Yeah.
and if they're alone in a house all
Yeah, that's
day,
why
it's
Jeff Ross
not fun.
shouldn't fuck them. Yeah. They're children. He likes a
Yeah.
very old child. Good for you
Yes.
for liking an older child, Jeff.
To
I've
be clear, Jeff Ross has not hit on my son, and that's not what
right,
I'm
let's
worried
clear
about. But
that
yes.
up. Yes. Right. And we'll clear.
But but yeah, so when I'm gone and his dad's not home and he's just by himself, but thank God for Charmy. I mean, I can't imagine what this whole thing would have been like without Charmy. But yeah,
Yeah, he's got a
I'm
buddy.
like, oh, I wish I was home too. I wish I was both places. Like
Right.
a
Right.
sister lady.
Teleportation. It would definitely be the superpower of comedy choice.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I ran into Bonnie and Rich, Bonnie McFarlane and Rich Voss,
Oh, nice.
Rich was working both nights, I was working, and then Bonnie popped by last night. So it's really good to see her. But their daughter is like a year younger than my son. And
Oh, okay.
their daughter is so beautiful. Like
Yeah.
she looks so much like Bonnie. And Rick showed me this picture. She looks like a French model. I'm like, exactly. She does. She just sort of has this European look to her,
Right.
and what a beauty. Anyway, it was
That's
cool.
great. You
I always
should
like catching up with comedy kids.
right. So other people's comedy kids. Your son is strikingly handsome. He is an enormously handsome young man.
Wow.
So
What can I say?
he looks like a French model. He literally.
Mhm.
But because
from the country of Latin America.
right from somewhere in Latin America, the French part, and
Mhm.
the French didn't go to. Did they go? They never did. It was the Spanish and the Dutch.
Well, yeah, they ran Mexico for a while. Remember, the emperor yeah, somehow, shit, there was a Napoleon involved in Mexico. I should know this because we should know this because they're just south of us. But
They're right
yeah, the
there.
French were trying to colonize everything, and there's a French Guyana. So they were in there. I mean, they weren't as successful as Spain and Portugal, obviously, by
Right.
the languages that are spoken in America, but still.
I can't remember the Guyana comic I saw who was like, seriously, Guyana's not Ghana. It isn't Ghana. Stop getting us
Oh man.
mixed up. And I was like,
Oh
fair
man.
enough, man.
Very
Um,
different.
mm. Hey, where we at, Kyle? Just out of curiosity.
We
About
actually
Yeah.
just
45?
we hit 45 as you asked.
Let's take a quick break.
Oh, we're back.
Or we should have taken the
Um,
longest 15-minute break. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, wow. So after our podcast, I'm going to do my laundry and then clean my room. It looks filthy. I did lose the adapter for my portable air purifier, which is now making me really paranoid about being out. But maybe I'll find it in this mess that I may have
Right,
left it
like,
on the plane. And
oh, right.
it's a weird adapter. Like it costs like $25 to get, and it, you know, to get another version of it because I should, next time I get a portable one, I want to try something that has a better, like more common adapter. So because obviously you lose those things all the time. So
Well, and here's the other thing
annoying.
is you might want to look into getting the adapters. Like there's different, I have a kit that has different tips. It's sort of
Mhm.
like a piping kit, but it's different things for plugs.
Yeah, I mean it's probably cost the same amount as getting
True
this
that.
one
True that. Yeah.
replaced, but not in time for being in the airport tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So
Yeah.
because usually if I'm eating in the airport, I'll obviously take the mask off and I'll just like put my face over my little purifier and it just pushes and feel better. Like I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, this air is dominating my nasal passageway right now, and I'm not gonna get COVID.
Right.
Especially because next weekend, oh, I forgot. No, I'm actually out of town next weekend. I'm at Corvallis, and my show is sold out.
Hey,
So, yeah,
nice. Where's Corvallis?
it's about an hour south of Portland.
Oh, right. It's your Oregon one, and it's sold
Yeah,
out. But I bet you there's a waiting list if people still want to figure it out.
I have no idea. I guess there's not enough to add a second show, but still, that's kind of cool. It's a theater
It's really
in the middle
cool.
of Oregon. I don't know how I sold that out. I don't know, but kudos to them because they sold it out too. But and then the following weekends I'm down for a little bit. But then I'm at the Comedy Attic in
Oh,
at
Bloomington.
February 3rd and 4th at the Comedy Attic, flying in on the 2nd.
Right. Yeah, I'm flying in a day early to Traverse City, Michigan. I'm back in Michigan in early February, but I'm at the end of this month. I have to go up to a Rooster T. Feathers, cock-a-doodle-doo,
I'm
and
so excited for
I can't wait to
there
see
in
it.
March. Yeah,
Do you
me
think
too.
there'll be a green room? Do you think she put in
No.
a green room? Okay.
No, I think they renovated the interior. That room has been the same since like 1977, with just minor changes. And what I've seen, it looks really sleek. I like it. Like
Yeah, I've seen the
it
pictures.
needs to be updated a little bit. It's Silicon Valley, man. It should look a little sleek, it looks really, seems like it'll be fun.
It had more of a Reno vibe to it for a long time.
Yes.
It kind of had that kind of stagecoach and a little bit of the wooden
now it's
railings.
got like more of a Monaco vibe.
Yes, finally. I get to do stand up in Monaco. It'll be I almost went. So before I left, I almost went to one of those. Not they're sort of like a mic at the Comedy Store, but I almost went and hung out at the Comedy Store and did and to see if I could pick up a set in an effort to get in at the Comedy Store.
I know. That's what even now we have to hang out to get in there. That's why I think that's been holding me back. I just I don't want
hard
until my kid is like like I feel like these are like the last couple years, he's gonna learn to drive this summer, and then there's like gonna be this independence, and I can never claw back the child. So there's no need to rush it. It's happening. But I was talking to Bonnie about it because we were both like, oh, we're closer to freedom, but then
Yep.
you kind of don't want it at the same time. Like you just want to
Well,
hang
I
around your
mean,
kid.
look forward to the fact that Kyle still lives at home. And at some point, Kyle
It
will
never
not.
has to stop, Laurie. We live in a world full of a lot of unpredictable life situations for young people.
Oh my God.
Things can go bad quickly and repeatedly.
My friend Stefan said one time, and this was 20 years ago, he said, "You have to stop saying that I live with my parents because eventually they will live with me. And I will own this house." And so it came to pass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know that.
You have a better way to
Um,
own a home in modern America? I'd like to hear it.
It has a real Hanoi vibe.
well, I don't mind if he lives with me. That's cool, but I just don't want him to have to have me home a lot. At some point, like Kyle, you don't like pine for your mother when
Oh,
she goes
absolutely
out
not.
to
No,
the store.
no, Laura, you
right?
don't understand though. You're about to enter the thing where you never have to drive or do anything for yourself again because you have a fun little servant with a car now.
Right, you can
My
send
mom
him
has
on
not run an
tasks.
errand in 15 years.
Ooh.
Like I earn a key. I am a part of a private delivery service. Remember, Jackie is now leasing me, Laurie. That's how good I am at this job.
I am. There has been some lease to own,
Oh, that's
and
hilarious.
yeah, he's driven Chris, my mother-in-law,
Yeah.
to at least 2 eye appointments.
Anybody listening, you
okay.
got an elderly person, you need a polite young man who can lift things.
She
Dang,
really
Kyle.
likes him. She's like, he is such a nice young man.
She's the best. We had a great time.
Good. Awesome.
We live about the same speed. I love it.
I wish you'd have been around to pick up my mom's
I sometimes think about what could have
methadone.
been. Yeah, we'd have had a great time.
You would have just been standing in line at Costco trying to get methadone for my mom.
Wouldn't be my first time.
Do you have a membership at Costco?
I do.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. I'm used to
Yeah.
responding
Oh, no.
to you. Laurie, get on that.
No,
It's the best.
Laurie,
I don't, but I was thinking about it.
my
just
mother-in-law
hate
re-upped
going.
it, and it's such a nightmare. I don't
It is.
understand. Like those
Parking,
carts are
it's
so
awful.
big. The
Yeah.
carts. The first time I saw those carts, I was like, why are they so big? And then I saw the products.
It sounds like you need a service boy.
Oh, too funny.
Um.
Well,
Well, I have a little coffee press here, an AeroPress here, and I'm missing a part. And so what I have to do now, so I could have fresh coffee in the morning, is on the way home from gigs, like I stop at Dunkin' Donuts. There's one on the corner at like 1 a.m. and get 2 large coffees and put them in the fridge and then heat them up the next morning.
wow.
Yes.
What, you need a
Do
new
you know
coffee maker?
how tired I was last night? My feet hurt. I've been waiting for the fucking A train, and then it was local. It took forever to get home, and then I'm like, if I don't get coffee now, I'm not gonna have it.
Right.
And I did. Jackie, it's that kind of discipline that's led me to the great career that I have.
I was going through the fridge here, and some of the stuff is just, I don't know when my friend went, but it was dated, so I just threw it away. But she does have a pound of coffee sitting on the counter, so I'm thinking of just making some coffee before I go out tonight. Yeah.
You could replace it. Leave her with a pound of better coffee, if that's
Right.
possible.
If
I
not
don't know what her tastes
comparable.
are.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
knows? Groovy. Well,
I have noticed a lot more people asking for money for food in New York, like more than
on the
usual.
streets.
hmm
Oof.
It feels it's not good at all,
Right,
a
right. Troubled times.
couple times.
Yeah. And there was a little bit of that. Like the weird thing about the castle is that it's only about 5 blocks away, but
Hmm.
they always send somebody to pick
From
you up from the
Oh,
hotel.
okay. Okay.
And so I could never figure out exactly where I was in
Hmm.
Royal Oak.
Hmm.
Um, because I walked out, I was told that there was a coffee shop next to the bowling alley movie theater down the block, and
Hmm.
there was a handwritten, like, spiral notebook note in the door that says "out of business." And I was like, "Wow, a lot of
Jesus.
attitude there." And so I went to there was like a gastropub kind of sports bar, and I had a delicious, actually really good hamburger. I ended up eating out of the closet next to the check-in at the hotel, like 3 meals. Like I had two like airport Caesar salads for dinner,
Yeah.
one on
Right.
Thursday, one on Friday night, and then and I missed breakfast. I slept through breakfast every morning, so Saturday morning I bought like microwave popcorn and a cookie. So it wasn't my finest road dining moments. And I
Yeah.
someone told me that I needed to go to something called the Ram's Horn in. So I told the younger comics, I was like, "Hey, do you guys want to go to the Ram's Horn?" And they both were like, "Sure." And then I was talking to somebody, my buddy, my coaches, and he goes, "Jackie, that's just a shitty diner. Why?" I was like, "Oh, I told that it was a destination." And he goes, "If you like a shitty diner," and I was like, "I don't mind a shitty diner." He was like, "No, you like a good diner. This is just an okay diner." And there was also a 24-hour diner that I almost went to by the hotel, and the woman at the front desk, she said, "Not during the day.
Wow.
This is a That's a
I
2
thought,
a.m. I need something to
oh,
eat
I see.
thing."
Oh,
Yeah,
it's like a Waffle House.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Coney Island Diner, I think.
I don't know any of these details about the Comedy Castle because I've not been rebooked since I opened for John
Jack,
Joseph in like 1992.
oh, the fact that my headshot is up at all is, I'm like, it was I think it was 93. And I had featured for Jack Mayberry at Dr. Grin's.
Oh, Jack Mayberry. He did the Tonight Show a lot, right? Didn't he do it
Yeah,
like a ton of
Carson.
times?
Yeah, he did
Where's
Johnny
he?
Carson
What's
a
he
bunch.
doing now? Is he
Still
still
doing
around?
stand up, I think. He's still around. We're
Really?
friends on Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
God, he's a great joke writer.
Yeah, he was a really good joke writer. Probably still, I mean, I hope he still is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yep. I don't think I'm gonna make it an hour. It's been great. I kinda have to go.
I can support that.
Hey, just quick note, guys. Our $10 a month Patreons finally got their stickers. I guess, the timing was whatever it was.
They're
We
so
didn't
cool.
know. It was like the end of the third month. But they'll be coming every,
Every
so
3 months. You'll
Patreon
get
does deliver it.
yep.
So it's a thing. And so if you sign up with the $10 a month, you get the stickers every 3 months, 3 stickers every 3 months. Plus you get our extra podcast. We just posted our extra podcast for the $5 and uppers with Marcella Arguello, and it was great. We talked about comedy and how she kind of wrote to the theme of her HBO special, which is coming out really soon.
All right.
And as soon as you sign up for the 5 or more, you don't have to wait. Like they like to vet you at Patreon, but we're like, no, they immediately have access to all those podcasts. So right
And
now we
there's
have Mary
4 of them.
Lynn,
Yeah.
Maria Bamford, Mary Lynn Rice Cub, Marcella, and Laura House up there, and they're all half hours, and they're really fun.